And that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
More than 3/4 of all Americans question the president's pledge to consider only black women to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, saying he should consider all possible nominees.
Jonathan Turley says it raises the question on whether it's actually appropriate for a politician to use such a criteria that the court itself has found unconstitutional.
Yeah, I would go even further. I think it may be unconstitutional. If he had said he was going to appoint the first Muslim to the court, that would be unconstitutional because the Constitution, Article 6, specifically provides that no religious test shall ever be required. I think the 14th and 19th Amendments also extend that to no racial or gender tests. Nobody should ever be excluded because they don't fit a racial or gender criteria.
Why a black woman that's to commit to that is reverse racism.
Well, first we'd say that the fact that no black woman has been nominated shows a deficiency of the past selection processes.
Old and just as decrepit condition as that bridge was. But all these years I never knew Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had more bridges than any other city in the world. Yo! It strips you of your dignity, damn it. Can you imagine looking at your child and you know what they need and not be able to do it? I want every precinct. Find those batteries. General Motors.
3 out of 4 Americans are pessimistic about the state of the economy. Only 29% support deploying troops to counter the Russian threat to Ukraine.
Well, it's true that a lot of Democrats, to include Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and others, do seem to care more about Ukraine's border than our southern border at a time when we've had 2 million illegal immigrants cross our border under Joe Biden's tenure in office. I mean, that's like adding the entire population of Nebraska to this country.
For evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's exactly what's happening here. Good men are doing nothing. You're allowing illegal aliens to drop off communities.
The video is quite remarkable. I've never, in my time at DHS, both in the Trump administration and previously, I've never seen anything like that, where Border Patrol agents are pushing back so aggressively on their leadership. And I think what is probably most striking from that video, which is, if you can see in the background, the DHS secretary is standing right there. He does not step up. He does not address any of these concerns from the Border Patrol agents. There's no vision. There's no leadership. He just stands to the side because he knows he cannot talk to these agents and defend what is going down.
So last year I was out and about in this area and I was showing you some of the Trump wall that was here that has a 12-foot concrete section with an 18-foot wall on top of it. Well, this is the new wall that's being put up. So maybe, I don't know, 6 feet tall of concrete and then another 6-foot section on top of it. So they're calling it more guardrail. This has changed dramatically from 2 years ago when we were actually putting up fences that actually would stop people. This is decorative. This is not actually going to stop anyone.
Last night on Twitter, I called for Joe Biden to be impeached and removed. His primary obligation as the commander-in-chief and the president of the United States is to enforce our laws, to live up to his oath, to enforce our border security, and also to tell the truth to the American people.
Incredibly frustrating thing is the policies that the Biden administration has put into place is actually encouraging this because they're releasing single males now into the country. They continue to be able to process people into the country in larger and larger numbers. And what we've seen.
His dad was much older than me, than I am, than Bobby, but I lived in North Washington Avenue. You notice they changed the end of the road name. It's the Joe Biden way now. You know? No, really, you see that? I shouldn't say this. I'm going to get in trouble in Delaware. I used to drive up Route 81 all the time to get, not just to get Scranton, but get up to Syracuse when I was at Syracuse Law School. And the entrance to go get to Scranton off 81 is the Joe Biden Expressway. So I'm coming home, Bobby. I'm coming home. Let me just talk a little bit about what we all just saw, many of us saw this morning. A bridge more than 50 years old, I think it was 150 years. It says 50 years old, but I thought it was older. Collapsed right here in Pittsburgh. It had been rated in poor condition for the past 10 years. it's consequential, and at any rate, but I thank you for being here and what you have to say. Now, Brian?
Yeah, Mr. President, with your permission, we're going to shift to the next section. We're going to ask the press to leave, and we're going to focus on going down into some of the...
Now he says that he did talk to Xi about it, but nobody else was there. If the president had that conversation, did it work? And is Xi now playing ball?
What are you getting at there? Are you suggesting the president wasn't being honest about his own conversation with Xi?
No, but the story did change for months. He was asked about it, and he said that he had not directly asked him about the COVID origins investigation.
We don't share every detail of every diplomatic conversation. You know that. The president... Oh, you have time? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to cut it off so dramatically. Go ahead.
The White House. Does the president regret saying what he said about Peter? Can you shed some light if you have had any conversations with him today about what happened last night?
Well, I would say what's most important, and it's Peter sitting here, so this is kind of a funny thing, but the president called Peter, and he confirmed this, so this is only why I'm speaking to this. And if you have private conversations with the president, I will assure you I'm not going to convey that on your behalf.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Large numbers of single adult men are being released into the United States just hours after being apprehended at the southern border.
Well, I'm not sure the specifics of what you're referring to, Peter.
And what you're looking at are federally contracted buses dropping off dozens of migrants at this parking garage. And what you'll quickly notice is these are all single adults being released, almost all of them men. No children, no family units.
Consistent with our policy.
And you mentioned that they're supposed to check in at a local ICE office, but we know that just between March and August, which is a very small sample size, DHS says more than 47,000 of these migrants that were given notices to report did not show up. So why let them into the U.S. unsupervised in the first place?
Well, again, we have a stringent protocols and processes that we implement here.
Vision of President Biden and the person that actually executed and made it happen was Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
I accept every compliment on behalf of the House Democrats. And then we, of course, needed to do more.
Democrats, and it's not political, but I'm biased, Madam Speaker. Democrats, Nancy Pelosi refueled that engine.
Any other questions? No?